Hey everybody, Thomas here, and you're watching Marie's Life Vlogs channel. Today we're going to do, I'm so nervous, some homemade soaps, and I'm going to show you how the way I do it. There's a bunch of different ways to make it, but this is just one way that I found that I like. First, I'm going to measure. Let me do the water. You should always use a scale when measuring out your ingredients, and I go by the ounces. So on this scale, there's different settings. Ounces. And I do a discount on my water. I think it's 10%, but don't quote me on that. But I use distilled water too. You can use rainwater, spring water. You can use different types of milk. There's so many different ways to do it. But today is just a basic one. I'm using 11.5 ounces of water, distilled water, of course. Oh, I forgot to get the sugar and salt. Let me go over here. I have gloves on because we're working with chemicals. Salt. Do we have? Okay. I'm going to use, this is going to sound weird, but this is the way I found that works really good. 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I'll explain in a second. And how do you get the lid off? One tablespoon of salt. Now the sugar, from what I've read, makes the soap more bubbly, and the salt makes soap harder, so it'll last a little bit longer. So I mix that up real good before I add the lye. And the way I do it is I just put some cold water in the sink. When mixing lye, you gotta use Pyrex or something similar like that, because it heats up really hot and it'll destroy pretty much anything. And I only use these containers for soap making because they have lye and stuff in them. The water down here don't get very hot, so that should be enough. Let me add some ice. Oops. Okay, then I put my, are you recording? Mm-hmm. Put the water in and let it start chilling You got to be careful not to get any regular water inside that. Then I'm going to measure out the lye. I got to make sure my hands are dry. There's a couple different types of lye. This one is sodium hydroxide. They're little beads, and that's for making hard soap. And there's potash or potassium hydroxide, and this is for making a liquid type soap. And I use this container. This is all I use it for. And you got to be very careful with this, because it will burn your skin if you get it on your skin. So I need 7.2 ounces. It flies everywhere, so I don't want to, I have to cover this. There we go. Be very, very careful with this one. And I keep a lid on it because the humidity down here is really bad. See these little marks on here? That's from the lye flying everywhere. But over here, this is the spoon I use. You got to replace these a lot. You can tell. Because that's what lye does to stuff. It just eats it. And I start mixing it little by little. See, you can hear how hot it is. But I want it to be, right now it's probably around 150 degrees. I want it to cool down to 99 after I add everything. Right around 99. That's the way I do it. You should be wearing glasses and a mask. I don't have any masks right now, so you don't want to inhale the fumes, because it will burn. And then I'm going to start measuring out the oils. In the recipe I use, let me move this out of the way. I use, it's one that I made up. It's 53.2 ounces. Of different oils, and this is an oil that I infused with lemongrass, and it's an olive oil, but olive oil carries the scent in a lot of like essential oils and stuff like that a lot easier than other oils do. So I'm going to measure that out first. I always try to do the liquid oils first, because I use a combination of liquid and like lard and coconut oil. So there's 8.9. Oops. No. Olive oil is really good for your skin too. There's 10 ounces of olive oil. Then I'm using a grapeseed oil blend. That works real good. 20.4. Let me write that down. So that'll make, I have some oil over there that I'm infusing some color. So altogether I have 30 ounces. And then I'm going to add some, this is just regular lard, which is really, really good for your skin. Some people don't use it because they're vegetarian or vegan, and that's fine. I understand that, and I make it that way for the kids because they don't eat pig. Let me do 12 ounces. Ooh. And then for coconut oil, I order the big container. No, that's 32. 32. 42. No, 44. Oh. Ah, crap. Shit. Mm, 10 ounces. That's close. So I'm going to put this in a pan of hot water so I can melt the oils together and blend them all together. Yeah, this is pretty hot. And over here, let me get the filter. I have, it's called, this is what's going to make the soap a blue color. It's called Indigo. And it comes, this one's from India. And I don't want to, this stains. You can dye clothes and use it for soaps and all kinds of crafts. But you just got to be careful because it stains almost everything. And I've already got it blended up. I just want to, if you leave the chunks in there, it'll get in your shower and just make a mess. It comes out, but sometimes it takes a while. Okay, I'll let that sit. Make sure I don't have any on me. I'm using some oatmeal that I ground up too, because it's good for exfoliating and it's really good for your skin. And I might add a little bit of vitamin E oil. Ooh, a little too much. And some lanolin. You only need a little tiny bit of lanolin because it's really good for your skin, and it's very strong. And then over here, this is clear again. So I'm going to add some more lye. You can pre-mix this ahead of time, like the night before you make soap, but I don't recommend it because somebody could drink it by accident. You just never know. Or somebody could spill it on them, and that would hurt. Goat milk is really, really good for your skin, and it makes a great soap. And coconut milk. I make my own coconut milk and do it that way sometimes. Okay, the oil is right around 100 degrees, and the lye is too. I'm going to go ahead and add the ground oatmeal in here and give it a stir. And I think I'll add the indigo color also. Oops. Just splattered myself. So that's what the oils look like all blended together. And the oatmeal and the indigo powder. It's gonna change color as it sets overnight. It's gonna get a little lighter. But let me go ahead and add the lye water. You don't want to splatter this because it will burn your skin. And I'm going to use a stick blender to blend it, but I can see it's already starting to form into a soap. This might get kind of loud. Yeah, it's going real fast. See it changing color? Usually when it gets to this stage, I stop it and pour it into my mold, and then I wait for about an hour and do the top. This stick blender I like a lot because I can take this off and run it under the water and in the dishwasher, and it helps. Oh, I forgot to add the oils. I'm gonna add tea tree oil, which is antifungal and antibacterial. And I'm gonna add some lavender. It doesn't, the scent doesn't always stay for some reason in cold process soaps. But I still like to add it. It's lavender essential oil, not fragrance. Give that a stir. I'm gonna blend it. It smells really good. Okay, now I'm going to go over here and pour it into the molds I have. I have different types of molds. These ones, when this is hot, they tend to melt. The plastic ones, which are not real good. It's not real hot, but this is a good one. It's a flexible, I forget what you call it, heat resistant type mold. And this one is just a cheap one I made a long time ago when I first started making soap, and I use it a lot because I usually make it in big batches. So I'm gonna pour this in. Oh. And then I'll let that set for a little while. Let me show you. I'm using this freezer paper. It's plastic coated, and on one side it's kind of dull and the other side it's shiny. I'm using the shiny side up because if you do this side, when your soap dries, this paper will stick to the soap, and it's a pain in the butt to get off. So I use the shiny side, the waxed side. And over here, these are just some different soaps I've made. This is from this mold. It's a bamboo a bamboo mold, and you just pour the stuff in there and let it set, and when you pop it out, I usually put these in the freezer. And then this one's a flower mold. It's from this one. And I haven't melted these ones yet, except for maybe a little bit. And this is a shampoo bar that I make. It's got rosemary and a whole bunch of stuff in it, and I really like it. And this is avocado and mica, purple mica. I use regular avocado in here. You can't really tell because it's lightened up a lot, but it was real dark green. Because I try to use the more natural colors instead of man-made colors, but it doesn't always work. So, and there's lavender flowers. I don't know if you can see. This white stuff on the top is just, it's called potash. It's from the lye and the oil. And you can take alcohol or, I forget the name of that, and clean it off if you want. I usually just run it under water and clean them. So, let's see. What?
Plastic line.
There's so many different ways to make soap. Yeah. Oh. But this is the way that I like to do it. And I'll show you more after this starts drying. Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you guys how I did the indigo powder. I took 2 teaspoons of the indigo. This one comes in chunks. I guess you can order it in a powder form, but this one comes in little chunks like this, and you got to break it up. And it's very messy, as you can see. And I took 2 teaspoons of that and put it in a metal bowl, and I took 1.5 ounces of olive oil and put it in there, and I mixed it up real good, and then I took it over to the stove, and since this is metal, I turned this on high for a second, let it get warm, and then I set this on there and mixed everything and infused it that way. I should have done it a long time ago and just infused it in a canning jar, but I forgot. So, and then let me rinse my hand. And then since this has been sitting for about an hour, I'm gonna go ahead and I like to make the top a little decorative. Just for fun. You don't have to do this. You can see the color is getting a little lighter. So yeah, that's how I do this part, and then I'll show you when I cut it, once it's dry, what it will look like. I'm saying too much. That'll be tomorrow morning. So, and I usually use, like, this cutter I got, it was like $1.99 on Amazon. And it makes a neat little cut. And I do a lot of these for like holidays and birthdays and stuff like that, and it's just something fun that you can do, or you know, to give personalized gifts to family and friends and neighbors, stuff like that. Stop laughing. So yeah, and it's a fun craft too. Okay, everybody, it's the next day and the soap has sat overnight, so I'm going to take it out and cut it. See, it did lighten up a lot, but sometimes it does that. So, take it. I don't use a particular size when I cut it, because it's just pretty much me or somebody I know that uses it. So, see, that's what the inside looks like. It'll lighten up a lot as it sits. You gotta let it set for about 6 to 8 weeks. And I like the bigger bars because they last longer. So, let's see how many we get. These are probably 7-ounce bars. I'm really surprised it lightened up so much. I'm gonna cut a little piece off and show you. Oops, show you what it's. But after you cut it, you let it sit for 6 to 8 weeks, just to make sure that the lye won't hurt your skin. And over here at the sink, I broke a piece off. I'll show you what it's like when it. Let's see the suds. Oops. So it makes a lot of suds. It's a really nice soap. Oops. So that's how you make the bars of soap. It's pretty easy. I would recommend, doing your research before you start making it, and I would do it by by weight, not volume. Like, don't use cups of oil, or because it doesn't always turn out that way. And there's so many different ways to, or so many different things that you can add to soap to help your skin. So anyway, I guess that's it. And so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. And if you haven't, check out Marie's, her TikTok. It's Marie's Life Vlogs. Her Instagram is Marie's Life Vlogs and Mysteries, and her Twitter is Marie's Life Vlogs and Mysteries and MLV and me. And check out her other channel too, MLV and me. She's got a lot of really good stuff on there. It's a really good channel. So, and if you want to make a video, a cooking video, or something like that, you can email Marie at marieslifevlogs at gmail.com, and it'd be great to see other people make some videos and send them to her. So, okay.